Donald Peterson presents The True Adventures of Junior G-Men.
The Junior G-Men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action.
Stand by. All Junior G-Men, stand by. Stand by for the thrilling details of the return of Agatha Wyatt. Calling all Junior G-Men. Calling all Junior G-Men. Stand by for report of Junior G-Man Jimmy Neal concerning
The return of Agatha Wyatt.
Report number 393 in 3 parts is given by Operator Jimmy Neal of Hillcrest. Part 1.
Well, fellas, my dad and I got mixed up in this case entirely by accident. You see, we'd gone on a little fishing trip over the weekend. We're on our way home, and all of a sudden a whale of a storm broke. The thunder was crashing, and I'd never seen so much lightning. The rain was pouring down in buckets. We were traveling on a dirt road that must have been 40 miles from nowhere. At any rate, we hadn't seen a sign of a town or a house in a good long time. Well, we kept going along through the rain, and all the time the road was getting muddy.
Well, we certainly picked a great night for riding, didn't we, son?
You said it, Dad. Gosh, what a storm this turned out to be.
It is pretty bad, isn't it?
I'll say. It didn't look a bit like rain when we started out this afternoon.
No, it didn't, Jimmy, not a bit. Well, I suppose we just had to make the best of it. Uh-oh, that sounds like trouble, and plenty of it.
Gosh, Dad, you don't suppose...
I'm afraid we're going to be very much out of luck, Jimmy. Take a look at that gas gauge on the dashboard. Just read it and weep.
Gee whiz, Dad. Empty. We're out of gas?
That's it, son. Out of gas and stranded. Well, that settles that. I might just as well turn the ignition off. There you are.
Gee whiz, Dad. What are we going to do?
Well, to tell the truth, Jimmy, I don't know. We haven't passed a gas station in the last 10 miles. Heaven only knows how far we'd have to walk before we come up to one up ahead.
Yeah, that's right, Dad. This is a pretty lonely stretch of road.
Don't say it is. If there only were a house of some kind or shelter where we could spend the night.
There's a house up ahead, Dad. Right over there to the left of the road.
Why, so there is. Funny I didn't notice it myself. Boy, those lighted windows sure look inviting. I wonder whether or not the owner would be kind-hearted enough to let us stay there overnight.
Be a cinch to find out. All we have to do is ask.
And all the owner can do is refuse. Well, it's worth a chance at any rate. And it looks like we've got to take it. After all, we certainly can't spend the night in the car.
And so, after Dad locked the car, we started running towards the house. It's quite a workout, too. By the time we got to the porch... Well, we made it, Dad. Here we are.
And I'm glad of it, too. Whew. Another few yards and I've had to quit. My wind isn't what it used to be. But go on, go ahead and knock, son.
Okay, Dad, here goes. Gee whiz, listen to that thunder.
Seems to be getting worse all the time, doesn't it? Oh, someone's unlocking the door. Oh, good evening.
You knocked.
Why, well, yes, I did.
Oh. Well, you'd better step into the hall here.
Thank you. Come along, Jimmy.
Right.
Now, if you'll just wait a moment.
Who is it, Jacob? Who's there?
I don't rightly know, Mr. Paul. You see,
What do you mean you don't rightly know? After all... Oh, hello. Who are you?
Well, my name is Neil, Leslie Neil. This is my son, Jimmy.
How do you do, sir?
Hello. And now, Mr. Neal, what do you want?
Well, Mr.
Paul Wyatt.
Well, Mr. Wyatt, we were caught in a storm, ran out of gas.
And so you dropped in here for a free night's lodging.
Well, not exactly. I'm quite willing to pay for anything.
Well, Mr. Neal, that won't be necessary. The storm will be letting up before long, and Jacob can telephone for some gas. As soon as it arrives, you can be getting along.
Oh, I'll be very happy to be getting along. Jimmy and I appreciate your, what is it they call it? Your kind hospitality.
You're quite welcome to any hospitality you find here at the Elms. I'm afraid, however, you...
What's this, Paul? Visitors?
They'd like to be, I guess.
What do you mean? Mr. Wyatt simply means that my son and I...
They're after free lodging, Tony. Ran out of gas or something.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr.
His name's Neil.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Well, Mr. Neil, I happen to be another Wyatt, Anthony Wyatt. Oh, how do you do? Well, now, I don't know what my cousin Paul has told you, but, well, I think we can put you up for the night. How about it, Jacob?
Well, I Well, whatever you say, Mr. Tony.
Now, look here, Tony. This is hardly the
Now,
time.
take it easy, Paul. I'm sure we can take care of Mr. Neal and his son very nicely.
Well, that's very kind of you, I'm sure. We don't want to impose, though, after
But you're
all.
not imposing, Mr. Neal, not at all. Oh, Jacob,
Yes, Mr. Tony.
show Mr. Neal and his son to the guest room.
Yes, Mr. Tony. If you'll just follow me, sir.
Thank you. And thank you, sir.
Well, that's quite all right. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, we'll see you in the morning, if not sooner. Good night, Mr. Neal, and pleasant dreams.
And so the old man called Jacob, who was evidently a servant, led us to the guest room, and then left to get us some sandwiches and milk. While he was gone, Dad and I unpacked the small grip we'd brought with us, prepared for bed. Then, after we'd gotten into our pajamas and robes...
Well, it sure feels good to be indoors, son.
Dad, isn't this a kind of creepy old house?
Creepy?
Yeah, you know. Well, kind of spooky, like.
Oh, now look here, Jimmy. Don't you start imagining things, or you won't be able to sleep.
Oh, I'll sleep all right. You don't have to worry about that. Gosh, I'm so tired I could...
Oh, that's probably Jacob now. Come in.
Your sandwiches, sir.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. Thank you. Just set the tray on that table.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, is there anything else, sir?
Why, no, I don't think so, Jacob. That'll be all.
Very good, sir. Well, sir, Mr. Neal.
Yes?
I've got to tell you, Mr. Neal, I've got to warn you.
Warn me? Of what?
Of what you might hear or see. Of what might happen.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
This house, Mr. Neal, it's full of hate and greed. Ever since the old lady died, things have been getting worse and worse. And now...
Now, wait a minute. This old lady?
Miss Wyatt, sir. Miss Agatha Wyatt. She died almost a year ago. And they've been living here ever since. Her nephews, all four of them. You met two of them downstairs, Paul and Tony. The other two, Dennis and Stephen, were in their rooms.
I see.
They hate each other, too, like poison. That's why I'm afraid of what might happen.
Well, if they hate each other so much, why do they live together?
Why, that's just it. They've got to. Miss Agatha made a will, you see, and divided her fortune into 4 equal parts, a part to each nephew. Now, in order to claim their shares, each one of the nephews had to promise to live here.
For how long?
Forever.
Well, suppose one of them should decide to leave.
His share would be divided among the others.
Oh, I see.
Rather an unusual stipulation to make in a will, don't you think?
Perhaps. But then Miss Agatha was an unusual woman. A little eccentric, I think you'd call her. She was kind, though. Good and kind. I worked for her nearly 40 years. And I never heard her say an unkind word in all that time.
Well, that's a very nice thing to be able to say, Jacob. A very nice thing indeed. But tell me, why do you suppose she insisted that these nephews of hers live here?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it was because she was always so lonely. Because she'd always wanted them to stay here with her. And because they'd always refused. Oh, they came here often enough, but they never stayed very long. They'd just drop in for a little visit. And it was only because of her money they did. She knew it, too, and it broke her heart.
Oh, what a pity.
Yes, a pity. A great pity. She's square with them now, though. They're here, all of them together. And they're afraid to go. And afraid to stay.
Afraid to stay?
Afraid of what they've been seeing and hearing ever since they've been here. She's come back, you see. Miss Agatha's come back.
Come back? You mean...
Her ghost.
Good heavens, Jacob, you can't be serious.
But I am serious. And I'm telling the truth. I've seen her myself.
You mean the ghost?
Yes, the ghost. Her ghost. They've seen her, too. Her nephews. And she's frightened them half out of their wits.
Oh, but look here, Jacob. A thing like this, well, it just isn't possible. There must be an explanation.
Well, that's what they said at first. But they know different now. They've changed their minds. And so would you, Mr. Neal, if you stayed here long enough. You can't explain a ghost, you see, no matter how hard you try. That's why I'm warning you. Don't be surprised no matter what you hear, no matter what you see. And now I've got to be going.
But, Jacob, I wish you'd...
Good night, sir. And sleep well.
Sleep well. What a chance.
Yeah, what a chance is right. Gosh, Dad, we certainly walked into a nice, cheerful little place, didn't we?
We certainly did. And I have an idea I'd rather be out in the storm. Ghosts are out of the question, of course, but there's something going on in this house that... Well, to quote Mr. Shakespeare, I have a hunch there's something rotten in Denmark.
What do you think it is, Dad? I mean, what do you suppose it's all about?
I don't know, son. And if we're really lucky, we'll never find out. We're leaving this place tomorrow morning bright and early. Until then, well, just keep your fingers crossed.
But gee whiz, Dad, it seems to me that... Holy cats, Dad, listen.
Good heavens. What do you suppose? Come on, son, follow me.
Where are we going?
Downstairs. I'm going to find out what's happening, and I'm not going to leave you alone. Now, come on, follow me down this hall.
Okay, Dad, I'm right with you.
I don't see anything, do you?
No, I don't, Dad, not a thing.
Well, then come on, then. We're going down these stairs.
Okay.
There's a light down there, all right. And that means someone must have... But hurry, son, hurry.
Yeah, sure.
All right, now wait. We'll have a look around and see if it's...
Look, Dad. In there, in the library.
Yes? Yes,
Lying
Jimmy?
there in front of the fireplace.
Wyatt. Tony Wyatt. Stand by. All Junior G-men stand by for the thrilling details concerning the next broadcast. Calling all Junior G-men to proceed at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-men Jimmy Neal to report to Director Dollar Peterson at the next meeting on this station to continue report concerning...
The return of Agatha Wyatt.